My name is Martha Williams. I'm 32 years old. My niece sent me her Christmas wish list, a $2,000 laptop, a high-end drone, and $1,000 just because. I stared at the screen for a second, then typed back 2 words. You're getting socks. A few seconds later, the typing bubble popped up. Then you're not welcome here. I didn't sigh. I didn't even blink. I just smiled to myself and replied, Good. Now you can pay your rent without me. I set my phone face down on the counter and went back to stirring my overcooked pasta. By the time I picked it up again, I had 23 missed calls. Mostly from my brother, Brian, 2 from my niece, Kayla, 1 from his wife, Elise. I didn't answer any of them. I live in Colorado Springs, and by day, I'm a nurse who survives on bad hospital coffee. By night, apparently, I'm the financial backbone of a grown man who refuses to grow up. That grown man is my brother, Brian. For the last few years, every crisis in his house has ended with my phone lighting up. When the rent was short, he called me. When groceries ran out, he called me. When Kayla needed shoes, school supplies, birthday gifts, again, it was me. Elise works 2 jobs and never complains. She smiles, apologizes for Brian, sends long texts about how grateful she is. And I believed her. I believed in them. I kept telling myself it was temporary. But temporary has a way of turning into permanent when you keep paying other people's late fees. When Kayla was little, she was sweet, quiet. Somewhere along the line, that kid vanished. Now she's 13, with a phone she didn't buy, clothes she didn't pay for, and an attitude that feels like a carbon copy of her dad's. Ungrateful, spoiled, passive-aggressive. No matter what I gave, it was never enough. This year was already bad for me. My rent went up, my car broke down, the hospital was short-staffed again. I was working 11-hour shifts, dragging myself home exhausted, barely making my paycheck last until the 20th. Christmas wasn't even on my radar. Then my phone buzzed. From Kayla. No hello. No, how are you, Aunt Martha? Just, here's my Christmas list, and 3 neat little links. MacBook Pro, $1,999 a drone, almost $1,000. And at the bottom, and now I'm just for fun. Just for fun. I stared at it, not because I was shocked. Kayla hasn't shocked me in a long time, but because something in me went still. I wasn't angry. I was finished. You'll get socks, I typed. Less than a minute later, Brian jumped into the group chat like a grenade. Brian, then you're not welcome here. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was exactly the script I knew by heart. I typed, Good. Now you can pay your rent without me. Hit send and put the phone down again. I poured myself a glass of cheap red wine and sat on my couch in my scrubs. The TV was on, some sitcom laugh track echoing through my apartment, but I wasn't listening. Buzz, buzz, buzz. 23 missed calls. I turned the sound off and let the screen go black. Later that night, Elise texted me. I didn't know she sent that list. I'm so sorry. Please don't take Brian's words personally. He's just stressed. Stressed usually means he got another final notice for rent. Normally, I'd rush to reassure her. I'd say, It's okay, I understand. And then I'd open my banking app and fix it. This time I didn't reply. I let the silence speak for me. When the apartment finally went quiet, I opened my laptop. I told myself it was just to check my account. A few hundred here, a couple transfers there, that's what I expected. Instead, the numbers lined up like bricks in a wall I had built myself. $400, $250, $600, $300, rent, groceries, just until payday, another rent, another I'll pay you back next month. When I filtered every transfer to Brian's account, one total stared back at me. $17,086. Jesus, I whispered. That was a car, paid off. That was half a year of my rent. That was the vacation my boyfriend Daniel and I kept promising we'd take someday. Instead, it had gone to a house I didn't live in, bills I didn't create, and a brother who refused to hold a job longer than a Netflix season. Something in my chest hardened. I closed the banking tab and opened another. The electric company. Hi, I'm calling to remove my name from an account, I said calmly. 10 minutes later, my name was gone. Next tab, internet provider. Then water. Then trash collection. Then grocery delivery. Each cancellation loosened a knot I didn't know I'd been carrying. I didn't text Brian. I didn't warn him. I just stopped. 3 days later. Brian, hey, is the internet down? I left him on red. The next morning. Brian, did you forget the utility bill? Still nothing. Later. Brian, look, I know you got mad about the Christmas list, but this is stupid. It's Christmas. Can we not make this a big deal? It is a big deal, I replied and put my phone down. Minutes later, Elise messaged, "Please don't take this out on Kayla. She's still a kid. She doesn't understand." That one hit me. But the truth is, Kayla does understand. She's 13. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's copying her father. I didn't reply to Elise yet, not until I knew I wasn't acting from anger, but from self-respect. That evening, there was a knock. Daniel stood there, hair messy from his own shift, holding takeout and a tired smile. "You look like you could use dumplings," he said. "Or unconsciousness. Maybe both." We sat at my small table while I told him everything. The list, the fight, the missed calls, the $17,086 truth. He went quiet. "Martha, that's years of your life." "I know." "No," he said softly. "Years of you burning yourself out to save people who won't save themselves." He took my hand. "I'm proud of you," he whispered. "Just don't let him drag you back again." I squeezed his hand back. "I won't." And for the first time, I meant it. Saturday morning, my phone buzzed. One long, furious paragraph from Brian. No punctuation, barely coherent, just rage. But the last line stuck like a thorn. "You're just bitter and lonely." I felt my throat tighten. He wasn't scared of losing my money. He was scared of losing his grip on me. Then Elise texted, "He's losing it, blaming everyone. Still hasn't applied anywhere, just pacing." Then, "I'm thinking about leaving. Taking Kayla. I can't keep letting her think this is normal." A chill ran up my arms. This wasn't just financial anymore. It was structural collapse, and the unraveling hadn't even started yet. Elise's message stayed with me long after the screen dimmed. "I'm thinking about leaving. Taking Kayla. I don't want her thinking this is normal." I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, listening to the hum of my old refrigerator. For years, I had been the one, silently plugging every hole in their sinking ship. Now Elise was talking about stepping off the boat entirely. Close to midnight, my phone rang. Elise again. Her voice trembled the moment I said hello. "Martha, I'm at my parents' house," she whispered. "We left tonight." I sat straight up. "What happened?" He snapped. Not violent, but loud. He accused me of turning Kayla against him. Said I chose you over him. I heard the car noises behind her, like she was sitting in the driveway. He slammed every cabinet door, every drawer, every surface he could reach. She let out a breath that broke in the middle. He went out for another job search, and I grabbed Kayla and drove. My heart felt like it dropped. "You don't have to apologize," I said softly. "You did the right thing." When we hung up, I sat in the dark kitchen, hands wrapped around a mug of cold tea, and realized Brian had finally pushed away the last person who ever tried for him. The next morning, a message came through. "She left me. You win." I stared at it. Winning? This wasn't a game. None of this had ever been a game. I didn't reply. Days passed. Brian didn't text again. No insults, no guilt trips, no frantic calls. Just silence. Daniel noticed the difference before I did. We were lying on my couch when he glanced at me. "You're actually sleeping," he murmured. "Really sleeping." I curled up against him. "It feels strange." He stroked my arm gently. "People like your brother don't disappear quietly. Just be ready." He was right. 2 days later, my parents came home from Europe, 6 weeks early. I saw their surprise return on Instagram. Suitcases in the hallway, Dad holding takeout, Mom hugging her favorite throw blanket. They'd posted every day from Europe. They weren't supposed to be home yet. I knew immediately, Brian. He must have shown up at their door the moment they landed, suitcase and sob story ready. I didn't have to wait long for confirmation. Mom knocked on my door with a bag of pastries and her soft, serious, let's talk expression. "Honey, Brian is heartbroken," she began. "He said Elise brainwashed Kayla, said you abandoned him when he was struggling, said he's being punished for being poor." She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. "I want everyone home for Christmas. Can't you forgive him?" I didn't answer. I walked to my laptop, opened my banking app, and turned it toward her. Line after line of transfers. Rent, utilities, groceries, subscriptions, more rent, more rent. Mom's eyes widened with every scroll. Then I opened Kayla's Christmas list. The laptop, the drone, the $1,000 just for fun. Her mouth tightened. "I didn't turn on him," I said. "I just stopped letting myself be used." She sank into a chair. For a long moment, she didn't speak. Then finally, in a voice that sounded exhausted and older than I remembered, "I think you should block him." I blinked. "You're serious?" "He doesn't need to be rescued again. He needs consequences." The next day, Dad called. "Let him sweat," he said simply. "He'll either grow or sink, but it's not your burden anymore." I didn't block Brian, not out of guilt, but because part of me wanted to see how long it would take before he realized the truth. No one was coming to save him this time. 5 days later, a message appeared from a number I didn't recognize. "Hey, it's Brian. I had to sell my phone." I froze. "I'm sleeping on a friend's couch. Haven't eaten a real meal in days. I'm not asking for money, just help finding a job." No anger, no guilt trips, no attacks. Just the first honest thing he'd said to me in years. I sat down slowly, phone heavy in my hand. For the first time, my brother wasn't reaching for my wallet. He was reaching for help. Real help. And I didn't know what to do with that. I stared at Brian's message for a long time. Not because I didn't understand it, but because it was the first time in years that he wasn't demanding, threatening, or manipulating. He was small, embarrassed, human. I finally called him. He answered on the second ring. His voice sounded rough, like he hadn't slept. "Martha?" he said quietly. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then he exhaled shakily. "I get it now." "Get what?" I asked. "That you weren't trying to hurt me. You were trying to make me grow up." I closed my eyes. I'd waited years to hear something even close to that, and now that it was in front of me, it didn't feel triumphant. It just felt sad. He kept talking. "Elise won't answer my calls. Kayla blocked me. I don't blame them. I know I messed up. I know I pushed everyone away." There was a pause. I could picture him rubbing his forehead, pacing, maybe sitting in some cold, dim room. "I didn't realize how hard you worked," he added softly. "I thought you were just lucky." There it was, the sentence that broke something open in me. I didn't rush to fix him this time. I didn't tell him it was okay. I didn't tell him he wasn't that bad. He needed the truth more than comfort. "You can't stay on a friend's couch forever," I said, "and I'm not sending money." "I know," he whispered. "I'm not asking for that." "But I can help you find a job," I said, "if you're willing to work." "I am," he said instantly, and I believed him. For the first time in a long time, I actually believed him. That night, I sent him job listings. Janitorial work, warehouse shifts, night stalking. The only thing within reach. Then I did one more thing. I called a supervisor at the hospital where I worked and quietly asked if they needed night cleaning staff. They did. 2 days later, he texted, "They hired me. I start tonight." I stared at that message for a long time, caught between disbelief and cautious hope. At first, I expected him to quit, show up late, make excuses. But night after night, he went in. He worked, really worked. People at the hospital, people who didn't even know he was my brother, told me he was polite, consistent, quiet, tired, but trying. One night, he texted me after his first paycheck. "It's only $587, but it feels like something." It wasn't a lot, but it was the first money he'd earned honestly in years. He sent a picture of groceries he bought himself. Simple things. Bread, eggs, canned soup, a bag of apples. Then he sent a picture of his haircut. Shorter, cleaner, like he was trying to rebuild from the outside in. A week later, Elise's father invited him to dinner. "He's starting to show effort," Elise texted me cautiously. "I'm not ready to talk to him yet, but maybe someday." Then, the small miracle. Kayla accepted a ride to school from him. She didn't say much, just looked at her phone the whole time. But when she got out of the car, she said one word. "Thanks." When Brian texted me that, he added, "I didn't know one word could mean so much." Meanwhile, things changed quietly between me and Daniel. Not dramatically, not with some emotional breakdown. Just relief. No more late-night calls dragging me out of bed to transfer money. No more ruined date nights. No more fights where he tried to convince me my own peace mattered. One night, while we were cooking dinner together, he said softly, "You seem lighter." I thought about it and nodded. "I think I am." He kissed my forehead, and for once, the affection didn't come with guilt attached. Eventually, Brian told me he'd been offered a full-time night position, benefits included. No dramatic speech, no begging, just a simple message. "Got the job, full-time. I want to make next Christmas different. I don't want Kayla to remember me as the guy who ruined everything." I replied, "Just earn tomorrow, then the next day." He answered, "I will." A few days later, he sent a photo of his new hospital ID, then another. Signed Elise, small studio. Not pretty, but it's mine. He'd saved enough for the deposit himself. No loans, no begging, no shortcuts. Then the final message. "Do you think Kayla would visit? Not to impress her. I just want to show her I'm trying." I felt something loosen inside me, something I'd been holding for years. I told him I'd help him move. "Just muscle," I said, "not money." He replied, "That would mean a lot. I want someone to see it." So this weekend, Daniel and I will take boxes up the stairs of a tiny studio apartment my brother earned with real work. Not because I saved him, but because he finally started saving himself. And maybe, just maybe, this time he won't throw it all away.